Welcome, everybody. It is episode number 355 of the OMG Hour. It is January 24th, 2020. And I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
I am Tico, Mr. Second Place. Every time you read the date, I get in my head the 1980 something from the Goldbergs.
Yeah, well, it's... it's January 24th, 1980 something.
2020 something.
Yeah. It's every time I see the date 2020, it's like it's very surreal.
It does,
right?
Yeah. It still feels like we're in the future.
Yeah. Every time I see the date 2020, it feels like that can't be real. That's some future date. Come on, what's going on?
But
here?
it is. So now we have to pick another date that seems completely unrealistic when we're with it.
2030, just the next decade.
No,
right?
we're gonna be. It'll be like
20. Well, it'll be like the new Green Arrow and the Canaries. It's 2040.
Yeah,
it's 20 years from now.
Which spoilers, but I was a little bothered by one thing on that.
Oh, you want to talk TV right now?
Do we want to jump straight to TV? Is that in here somewhere?
Not really, but we can.
But just really quick, because you mentioned that this is supposed to be 20 years from when, from the events from the crisis, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's aged at all.
Were you not watching? Wait, let me ask you a question. Were you playing a game while you were watching?
No, I was full on watching, and
you weren't hearing it. You didn't. They explained it right there at the beginning.
What did they explain? Explain to me.
So, Laurel was dropped there by Sarah.
Yeah.
She hasn't been living there for 20 years. Sarah took her there.
Yeah.
On the Wave Rider, okay?
I'm not talking about Laurel. I'm talking about Mia looking like she hasn't aged either.
That's Mia's own timeline.
But it's still 20 years.
No, that is Mia's timeline.
Yeah.
When Oliver reset the timeline, Mia was no longer in 2020. She lived her life normally.
Okay, that's the part I didn't get. That's the part where I was confused. I got that's why that's the part I didn't get, was that they were I just assumed that they got dropped back in and this was 20 years from that point.
No, this is Mia's own timeline now. Mia didn't come back to 2020 after the crisis because she just lived her life normally in the new world.
Okay, then that's acceptable, and I will be okay with it.
I was going to say, wait a minute, what? And even, oh gosh, what's the other canary? What's her name? Dinah?
Dinah, yeah.
Dinah has a mystery as to why she's there, too. She doesn't know. She doesn't know how she got there. She basically woke up 20 years later. And she doesn't exist according to the timeline, so she's somehow become an anomaly. Apparently, she said it was after Oliver's funeral that suddenly she just woke up in 2040, and she doesn't know how she got there.
All right. Now, is the place where she's staying, is that the Huntress lair?
It looks like it. It's the clock tower.
Yeah, that's
the Oracle's tower.
Yeah.
It seems like it anyway. It is a clock tower, which I thought, okay, that's cool. That's usually where the birds of prey are.
Yeah.
Which is, if you think about it, that's kind of what they are. The three of them.
Yeah. I've heard that the Huntress will be in this show at some point.
Well,
the
Bertinellis.
Well, that show.
Yeah, the Bertinellis are a major family in this new timeline.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, and that's the Huntress, their daughter.
I enjoyed the what they call the backdoor pilot. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I am actually looking more forward to Green Arrow and the Canaries. I am when it starts now.
I am too. I'm just not. I'm not crazy about the fact that it takes place in 2040, because it kind of, without some weird explanation, it kind of excludes them from crossovers.
It does, without some sort of more time traveling.
Exactly,
stuff.
It totally excludes them. It's not like they can't just come and visit Flash, for example.
Yeah.
Because that's 20 years ago. So everything, Supergirl, Batwoman, the new Superman and Lois, the Flash, that's all 20 years ago when it comes to Green Arrow and the Canaries.
Yeah, so now we're not going to get any more of those team ups or anything like that.
Right.
You know, they don't get a seat at the fancy new table.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. That was this. For those who don't know what we're talking about, obviously that was this week's episode of Arrow. It was the backdoor pilot for Green Arrow and the Canaries.
Yeah, full of spoilers, which we were mentioning now. So if you listen to them, there were spoilers. Well,
no,
go back
not really.
Your memory.
It wasn't really
spoilerish.
Honestly, that was not spoilerish for that episode.
No,
that really did not spoil the premise of that episode in any way, shape, or form.
I suppose the fact that, I mean, it's spoilery in the fact that it happened, that they were there, but less of the actual content of the show.
We knew that was happening anyway. We've known about it for a year now. That this was going to be a show.
But okay, good.
So anyway, gaming. Let's talk about gaming because you and I. We cracked open the Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated on Saturday. Yes. I think we played 3 campaign stories.
3 campaigns. I gotta say,
you have to.
I must say.
Is somebody holding a gun to your head?
Probably. I mean, at some point, I'm sure somebody will. Anyways, I really, really enjoyed that game aspects. That game,
you need to start that again. You need to start that again because your voice totally cut out there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Where was I? Okay. What I was saying is I really enjoyed the legacy aspect of how Clank has built those in, getting little bits of information as you go along, but just it's such a fun game. It's not cooperative, but it is cooperative at the same time. So you're feeling that you want to work together as well as screwing everybody over. And it's a fun way to do a legacy campaign like that.
See, I do like that it's not full on co-op, but as you said, but it's not even like you don't even have to screw over it's not about screwing anyone over. Like there's no real mechanic to screw someone's thing, right?
Yeah, each game is scored separately. So there's a score at the end of every game. And so you are still, your goal is to try to be the winner of each game, but it feels like that's way down the list.
You're competing, but you're not really screwing each other over. Like there's no mechanic to screw over another player.
Well, there is and there isn't. There's no built-in like, oh, I'm going to play this card to screw you, but like finishing early and leaving leaves a gap as it goes around and can potentially hurt the other players.
Yeah, if you grab a relic and leave immediately, then you're basically in leaving the game earlier, you're creating more dragon attacks for everyone else. So yes, and what's neat about Clank is it starts out like, oh man, this is easy. This is going to be a piece of cake. Yeah. But by the time you finish the game, you're almost dead. Like it's the way it's designed, or you are dead in the case of you.
Of me. Three games, 3 deaths.
No, you were not 3 deaths.
Oh yeah, all 3 games. I did not make it out once.
Come on. You had to have because you won the first game.
Out of sheer total points. No. I did not make it out of the dungeon once.
No, I don't believe you.
I did not make it out of I made it to the above section. So I didn't have I didn't have my stuff not count, but I did not make it to the safety zone a single time.
No, we all got out on the first game because you had like 85 points.
And it would have been an extra 20 had I gotten out. I did not make it out.
No, you're lying. Tico's lying. He's telling you inconsistent stories.
Message the group and ask them. I did not make it out a single time. All 3 times, dead. Left for dead.
Well, that's a game.
Guys.
That's a game. Left for Dead. We're playing Left for Dead.
You guys left me to my own devices 3 times. I mean, even to the point, it's not that spoilery, but like in the last game we played, there were options to sort of do certain things but we sort of worked together to do something and to allow Matt to finish like 19 quests all at once.
Right? Oh my gosh. Well, that was just the way Matt's turn turned out because he finished a quest and then we had to read the description of the quest in the book. And then it said, you may now teleport to any space on the board. So he teleported to another space, which allowed him to then finish another quest, I think he finished 3 quests in a row.
3 quests because of the conditions, and like he ended up winning the game because he went from like almost dead. And that's what I mean cooperatively. Because if I had drawn a card on my turn from a certain spot, it would have led to most likely his death.
Wow, not necessarily.
Potentially, though.
Nah, I don't think so. That was a pretty epic turn, actually. I think it literally took us 30 minutes or more to get through his one turn.
It's a lot of reading.
Because there was a lot of reading, there was a lot of decisions to be made, and then more stickers came out on the board, and it was pretty cool. I'm enjoying this game. I'm enjoying watching the game board actually morph. Grow as we go. And there was a whole section that filled in that I didn't expect. I thought it was just like the last half of the board that was going to fill in. But there's other areas that you put stickers over sections. Sections turn into other kinds of spots. And then there's a whole other section added that I wasn't expecting. Or old paths become broken or something like change. It's like, it's really cool.
And it's different depending on the decisions that your group makes, too, because I was watching a review of the game, a non-spoiler review, and they said, this is non-spoiler, but we're just going to show our game boards. 2 different people who had played it were reviewing it together. They each held up their game boards, not with enough detail that you could see everything. But could see... But
they were different?
They were different. Like, one of them had, this spot here was filled in with something that was distinct, and the other one was, entirely different thing. So depending on the decisions you make, they say that you're going to have a unique experience at the end of this and a unique game board. Oh, yeah. It's not just the story. It's the story that you've told going through that is going to map out your future games on that. And I love the fact that you can play that with different groups and have different board and different outcomes.
Yeah, because there's several times where if you choose to do, there's 3 or 4 options. You choose to do this, read this entry. If you choose this, read this entry. It's like choose your own adventure, except you can't go back and make a different decision.
No, because if you've stickered something on the board,
exactly,
and it's difficult to pull back up, as you saw when you accidentally dropped something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's actually pretty nerve-wracking trying to put, because some of the stickers are large, and and there's a background on them, so they do line up to the board itself, so that it looks seamless if you can get it right. So you're lining up the edge of a mountain, and then you're okay, now over here, and then down, is it all lined up? And then the corner piece I put on, I thought it was all lined up, and then I slapped it on, it's oh crap, it's crooked.
Yeah.
Now I just can't unsee it. I cannot unsee how crooked it is.
Sean's going to buy another copy of the game to start from scratch.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to write to them, say, hey, I'm missing this sticker, and then I'm going to take it off and put it back on. Because I think I can get the sticker off, but not without ruining it.
Ruining the sticker?
Right.
Just leave it the way it is.
So if I can get another copy of the sticker, then I'll replace it. Oh man. And speaking of board gaming, the one thing I've always wanted in my game room is an actual game table. You and I always look at the game tables and when we're at one of the PAXs, right? They're beautiful game tables. They're so expensive though.
Charging stations built in.
Oh my gosh.
To lift the thing off an automatic table revealer, and
the base of the table can go up to dining room height, or it can sink in, so you're playing in the recessed table. But you had found on Facebook Marketplace, you had found one that's local to us. I think it's Stratford, which is about 30 minutes from where I live.
Yeah.
And somebody is selling a game table there for $700 Canadian. Yeah. And so I reached out to the guy who was selling it, and I just said, what's the brand? Does it come apart for travel? That sort of, just some general questions, because I'm interested.
Yeah.
And it turns out this guy actually made it himself. This is sort of a side hobby. It's not really a business that he's looking to really grow per se.
Yeah.
So he takes about a month or so. He builds a table, then he just sells it. And so I'm going to put a link in the show notes to this particular marketplace item. Obviously, you have to pick it up, so you got to be kind of local to where we are. But it's a fabulous looking table. It looks really, really well done, and it comes with cup holders, like movable cup holders for each person, and it's a 4 foot by 6 inch. It's a 4 foot by 6 foot table, that is a generous size table for gaming.
That's a nice size table. And I'll say this: when I saw that, I just assumed that he had bought this at one of these.
Me too.
Like one of the things, and then like he didn't want it anymore. But he's done a really nice job. It is a very good looking table.
It's got the felt top. And it's recessed in a couple inches. Yep. It's got a 3.5 inch like ledge around, so basically where you're going to be leaning your arms, and then it goes down couple of inches into the recessed game table, and it's got felt top, so it's easy to pick up cards, better to roll dice, and a really nice looking, really good looking table. And it's not just plain legs. What I noticed is he actually sculpted the legs a bit, so they look professional.
Yeah.
And he's just doing this on his own and then selling the table. But wow, does it ever look fantastic? And I think he's asking $700 for this particular table.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. It's not cheap. I mean, that is 700 Canadian. So I mean, that's like 300 American. So I mean, that's
right. Yeah.
But it looks really good, and like from what we've seen, I mean, we've been out at these things, and it's like something like similar to this would be like 1,500 American
or more.
I mean, like we've seen like $4,000 or $5,000 tables easily.
Do you remember that table we saw at PAX Unplugged, the one I filmed? I didn't get a chance to show anybody the video of it. But it had a charging station on it. It had all the dividers that fit into the table itself. Like it had everything.
It had speakers in it.
It had speakers in the table. I looked that up, Tico. $11,000.
Yeah, that tracks about right. So for $700, then you're like, well, this is a good deal.
Man, I need that $70 million lottery that someone just won. Then I'd buy that $11,000 table.
Yeah.
Like, wow. But I mean, when you look at those tables from PAX, which are like thousands, like I'd say they start around $2,000 for these, for the really nice tables. And he's asking $700 for something that looks just as nice. He also said to me that if I can't get this one, if I decide later on, if I want one, just reach out and he'll make one. It takes, he says it takes about a month, and he just makes it because he's doing it on his own as a side project.
That's actually really nice to know too, because you could have that customized to some of the things that you would want. Like
perhaps,
I want this, but I want it in like red felt and not blue felt, and I want like to match up with you can match up with your games. If I had the space in my house, we have a decent sized house, but I don't have a spot where I could stick that table.
Right. And I do. I mean, luckily I have my library would fit that.
Yeah.
Right. And it would be wonderful to have that in there. Even more so when we finally get rid of the brick hearth that kind of comes out halfway into the room, which is where the currently gas stove sits that doesn't work, that we just want to get rid of all of it because it takes up so much of the room. But that's what I want right there in the middle of the room. I just want a game table that just stays there.
Stays set up. With the thing, like, I don't know if he, when you talk to him, if he mentioned if there's a table topper that goes over top of that or not.
No, I think it's what you see is what you get there. But one thing I would personally like to ask him is like one of those I guess manual. I guess they call it a manual or a book holder. It's just a almost like a drawer that just sits beside you. You can put the game manual on it or other components as you're playing. Yeah. That would be nice. So just some accessories to put on the ridge around the table.
Yeah, that you could use for stuff like that. Even like just a big piece of whatever that plastic stuff is called to sit over top of it. So you like almost like a save game.
You're right. Yeah, that'd be cool. So check that out. It's Facebook Marketplace. I'll put a link to this particular one in the show notes so you can go at least check it out. It looks great, and if I could afford it right this moment, I'd probably get it, if my wife would let me.
So you made the mistake of asking.
I showed her.
She showed her, and she said no.
She didn't actually say no. The very next day when I texted her again, I said, "Oh, that thing was made. The guy selling it made it himself," and she says, "Oh." well, then that price isn't too bad at all. I'm like, oh, that's a different story now. So we'll see. We'll see.
Bring her some flowers home, Sean.
I bring my wife flowers all the time, Tico. I don't need a special occasion for that.
Oh, well then if you do that all the time, then you're screwing up, because then you have nothing. What do you do when you need something out of her? When you want something, you have to have something. Now you have to go over and above flowers?
I don't ever have to need or want something from my wife.
But now you want a table, and now you have to convince her.
See, the difference is that when she wants something, I never say no. So when I want something, she can't really say no.
That's my problem too, which is why I can't afford a table right now. It's because I never say no to my wife.
Right. One final thing. Ninja Theory teased out a new game. I don't know if did you see this Project Mara trailer, Tico?
I've seen this before. I have seen this stuff before. It is creepy.
It's apparently a new horror game, but it's very simple to describe. It shows almost like this office building. And you're traveling through just these hallways. It doesn't really show anything about the game at all. It's sort of a teaser of something they're working on. And all I could think was, Tico, if this was in-game footage of like the next-gen systems, we are in for a treat, because those office hallways or whatever they are, honestly, they look like photography. It looked like an actual video, not a video game.
Yeah, from what I saw, this is, I believe, their offices that they basically rendered.
But that's what I'm saying. If the next gen systems can render these kind of graphics,
because they had a shot of the staircase of their team all sitting on the staircase in their office, and then the rendered version of it right below. And it looked identical.
That's what I mean. The whole video itself looks like an actual video.
Yeah. Not
a video game, or not something from a game engine. And we are in for a treat if this is the kind of graphics we can expect from the next-gen systems. I was blown away by the way this looked.
I am looking forward to that, and also scared to death of having to play a horror game in that type of scenario setting.
Because it's so real.
It's so real. Like it's gonna like you imagine like you're playing something like that, and it does not feel like
a game.
It doesn't feel like a game. It feels like it's gonna just be.
Oh, I mean, I'd imagine playing like Man of Medan with that kind. Man of Medan's a good looking game to begin with, but imagine adding that much more realism to it. I can't even. Oh man, all I can think now is PT. Redo PT looking like that. Like that would be enough to kill you through fright.
Yeah, just like the number of heart attacks.
Of course, Ninja Theory is the one creating Senua's Sacrifice and the new one coming, right?
Yeah.
Which the new one, when we saw the trailer for the Xbox Series X, holy cow, that looks incredible.
Looks really good.
Like Senua herself actually looked real.
Yeah.
And that was all rendered. Yes, yes, absolutely. That's how real it looked. I'm blown away, absolutely, and I cannot wait to see what comes on the next gen. Which is probably why we're getting all of these delays, because everybody wants to come out on the new system.
Exactly.
Did you have anything you wanted to add to our discussion today on gaming?
No, my gaming has been down. Like it's been. I've had less desire to play video games in the last little bit. I have as well.
I think it's just because there's not much to really focus on right now.
Like I've gone through. Like I'm looking through my backlog, and I'm like,
That's the thing with you ever notice with a backlog, you literally have to be in the mood for specific games.
Yeah.
Right. You really have to be in a specific mood to go back to a game you've already played and haven't finished. I don't know what that is. I can't explain it. I'm still playing through Star Wars, but I'm gotten to that point where it's like, I'm kind of getting bored because I want to go back and get all the stuff I missed before I finish it. But my problem with that game, Tico, is even after you've completed an area, story-wise, there's nothing left to discover. You have to trudge your way through the entire map and find your way back to the ship. There is no fast travel. And those maps are ridiculous. ridiculously complicated.
I have had a number of times where I'm like, oh, there's where I need to go, and I can't get across there from here. I got to backtrack and go all the way around, and it's
so easy to get lost in that game.
Yeah,
like not lost in the gameplay, literally lost as I don't know where I need to go.
Yeah,
I think I'm going this way. And I have to keep checking the map every 2 feet. Am I going the right way? Am I going the right way? And then you figure out, oh, like you just said, oh, this doesn't connect to where I need to go.
Yeah, I can see it. I just can't get across that gap, and now I have to go traverse all the way back. Or when you're looking for something and you find, oh, this is where I need to be at the end of this, and then you forget how you
got there.
What you need to do to get back.
There's a
couple of frustrating parts.
I really wish every time you found a meditation point that it was a fast travel point.
Like, particularly once you finish the game, like if you're going back in and doing cleanup after you've finished the game,
let me fast travel to the section I need to go to.
Like, great. Okay, I get it. You don't want me to fast travel during the game. Once I've finished it and now I'm just cleaning up stuff, let me jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Around.
Exactly.
Have you finished the game yet or no?
No. See, I went back to Zepho. I went back to Zepho because that was the one I really needed to clean up. And I am lost in Zepho. Like, I'm trying to get my way back. And of course, in trying to get back, I discover another area that I have like 3 more chests to find. And so I search the place, and then I just get further lost in this map. I'm not kidding. It's frustrating. It was like, I just want to get back to the ship, and I can't find my way back.
Yeah, I would suggest finish up the story so you don't pull yourself too far away from that storyline, and finish up the storyline and then go back and clean up afterwards, because the storyline is really good.
My fear is that once I finish the story, based on the way I'm feeling about it now, is I won't go back to it at all. I'll be like, okay, I'm done. So
you gotta finish it.
I'll finish the story. No, I'll finish the story.
You gotta.
But after I finish the story, I think I'm gonna drop it.
Well,
it's no Outer Worlds, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, no, that's...
All right, so let's move on. We have, of course, another episode of D.E.A.D to deal with, so let's get into that.
All right.
Previously on D.E.A.D, utilizing the makeshift hammer they fashioned, our adventurers smashed open the small box, discovering a partial map that could be their way out of this dungeon. The makeshift hammer sure did come in handy. Too bad it was destroyed, knocking down the door to their cell. What awaits our heroes in the room beyond?
Dungeon Explorers Adventuring Department, how may I direct your call?
All right, so let's move on. We have discovered a new room, but before we get into that room, we must read the next entry in the story that will sort of set up that particular room. So we have to read entry 901.
With a queasy feeling in your stomach, you peek through the hole in the door. There can't be any guards around, or else they would have heard you trying to break out. With a sigh of relief, you realize that the coast is clear, and you can't see anyone in the torchlight. Place your character figure on room card C and read entry C.
All right, so you are now on the room card C. So you're out in the hallway, Tico.
Yep.
Let's figure out what's there, shall we?
Okay.
You find yourself standing in a hallway with 4 more doors. 2 have golden locks, 105 and 205. One of the doors is open, 305. A sign hangs above the doorway to your far right, 805. A symbol has been etched into the wall above the stairway leading up, 405, between the doors. There are 3 levers sunk into the floor, 505, 605, 705.
All right.
All right.
So I believe you knocked down the door, and then I just happened to check the door when we were all done. So I believe it is up to you to figure out what we are doing next.
All right, so I am going to take a look at 305, that open door there.
305, all right. Let's see. So you're moving over here to 305. Can check out the open door.
Yep.
The door to the second cell is unlocked. You notice some melted metal on the floor in front of it. Are these maybe the remains of the lock? That must mean that someone else has escaped too. Unsurprisingly, you find that there's nothing left in the cell of any value.
All right, so you found a melted lock. So we're assuming there's someone else running amok. And that's it. It's an empty room. There's nothing there. You know what I do love, for those of you who can't actually see it, that in the second tile, the door that was knocked down is actually knocked down on the floor.
On the floor, yeah.
Right. So let's see. We still don't have anything to look inside that grate in the cell.
No.
I'm kind of wondering what's in there.
Me too, but I'm not putting my hand back down there.
No. So I'm going to join you in the next room, and I don't know. The levers have like symbols on them. 505 has this weird symbol.
It looks like a star.
Well, I think it kind of. You mentioned earlier that it looked like a boulder falling.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it looks like something falling. I'm concerned that's the one there.
That's what's going to happen.
Like you're going to pull that and like something's going to fall down the stairs.
And 605 has a symbol of a staircase beside it. And then the 705 has a weird. I don't even know what that symbol is beside it.
It's like a smiley face, but like a neutral face.
Like, do we dare pull one of these levers?
Well, we could check out there. So there's the two doors with the gold locks, which we have a bronze key, which I'm guessing won't work on the gold locks.
I don't think we need to find a key first.
Yeah. But there's 805 and there's something written above that door too.
Right. So let me go check. You check 305. I'm gonna go check 805. How about that?
All right.
Let's see if I find something better than you.
The sign above the doorway says, Guards Quarters. You gingerly try the handle and find that the door is unlocked. You listen out briefly for sounds, but can't hear anything. I wonder what's in there. Do you want to open the door quietly and carefully take a look inside? If so, then read entry 141. Or do you want to rush into the room ready for battle? Then read entry 156.
Oh no,
Alternatively, you can
stealth.
retreat
You're
quietly.
doing stealth. I know you're doing stealth.
Yeah, I'm. We missed the last bit, but alternatively, you can retreat quietly. But I'm definitely going to open the door quietly and carefully look inside. So that is entry 141.
You carefully open the door. When it's open just a crack, you catch sight of a man in the next room. You immediately stop opening the door and are just about to close it again when you hear a friendly voice. Don't be scared. I'm not a guard. And going by the way you're sneaking around here, you're trying to escape too, just like me. My name's Edric. Take room card E and place it to the right of the room card C. Take adventure card 90 and place it at the center of room card E so that all of the location numbers are still visible. Then place your character figure on room card E and read entry E.
Okay, I've already discovered a new room.
Yeah, that was quick.
Which we will deal with next week. For now, Tico.
Yes.
Let's so I'm actually in the next room. So
you're in.
My turn today is over because I can't do anything else until we reveal that room.
Right. Why
don't you take your last turn for today, and
then
we will reconvene next week in the next room.
All right, let's go with I'm going to check out that 505 lever, and hopefully nothing hits me in the head.
You're going to pull the lever at 505?
Pulling the lever.
All right. Here we go.
You pull the left lever and hear a rumble above you. You look up, and your eyes widen in horror as a huge stone comes loose from the ceiling above you and falls on your shoulder. You lose 1 health point.
Dude! I told you it was the picture of a rock falling.
I know. That's it. I just get hit in the head and that's it.
That's it. All right, so you've lost yet another health point. What is it with you and dying in games?
Well, this is the problem. I am not the stealthy one. I basically... I guarantee if you'd run into that room, you would have tripped over a carpet or something like that and lost some health.
Maybe. All right. Well, that is... pretty much it for this episode of Dead. We shall return to the regularly scheduled show next week and look to see what's in the next room. All right. So we didn't really get too far. We did manage to
No.
kill you a little bit further.
I got hit in the head, so I've been bitten by a snake and hit in the head so far on this adventure.
I knew it. I knew it.
You've
I said to
collected-
you, it looks like a rock falling. And you
Yeah.
said, I believe you actually said, I wonder if that's what's going to happen.
And I knew it. And so I've been hit in the head with a rock and bitten by a snake. You have found a ruby and a gold coin.
Exactly. And I found the next room, and there's not a guard in there.
It's just a nice, friendly guy who, probably is going to hand you some more money and a gun.
Exactly. I should probably write down. I don't have a piece of paper anywhere. Oh, that's great. I should probably write down where we start next time, which I believe I last read 141, so I'll write that in the show notes, and that tells us what to do.
Yeah, so it's room E and entry 90, I believe, is what you need to read next.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have to take item 90, I believe is what it said.
Yeah.
Which is, let me have a look.
It's probably the guy, Edric.
It is. It is the guy.
Edric the guy.
It's Edric the guy. And there's actually... Oh, I see. So he actually adds a room number. He adds 407 to the card. That's why you place it in the center. So he's actually in the room.
Okay.
So that's cool. I kind of like that kind of mechanic where these cards are not just objects, but things that will be added to the room.
Yeah,
That's
and then once we
neat.
talk to him, it goes away.
It probably... Yes. He'll probably run away or kill us or
Yeah.
die or probably stab you or something.
I guarantee you the first thing he's going to say is, don't pull the first lever.
So that means that the second lever with the stairs may have something to do with the stairs.
Yeah, it's going to turn him into, like I just imagine it's going to turn him into a slide.
That's exactly what I
I'm
thought.
picturing that in my head from Scooby-Doo. Like, you pull the lever, it's whoosh.
And a big boulder will roll down and take off another one of your health points.
Probably. I got lots of health left. And then I start working with yours.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, we spent a lot more time on Dead than expected there, but okay. Let's talk about TV and movies.
All right.
I'm trying to think what I watched this week. I thought I watched something. Oh, I watched the new Terminator Dark Fate.
What'd you think of that?
Did I mention that last week? I don't think I did.
No, I don't think you
So
did.
Terminator Dark Fate, I enjoyed it, but I felt like the first, I don't know, like quarter, maybe half of it felt very much like a rehash of T2. Like it was just like the same things happening,
Yeah.
And then it finally gets to the point where they meet up with Arnold, and then, okay, now things are going a little bit differently, but the whole... I'm a Terminator from the future. I've been sent from the future to protect you. This is what we're happening. And it's like this is just T2 all over again.
Yeah. It's like T2 in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it did. The beginning of it did feel very
much a rehash.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I love the Terminator films. I'm going to be honest with you. Other than Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, that was the only one I did not enjoy. Like, I enjoyed every Terminator film. I enjoyed Genesis. I enjoyed Salvation. And the only one I did not like was Rise of the Machines. I thought it was really just poorly done.
Yeah.
I liked the concept of Rise of the Machines. The basic concept was you can't stop the future from happening no matter how hard you try. And that's kind of what Dark Fate was about too. Dark Fate wasn't about stopping the future. It was just trying to protect the girl.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be another one after this or where do you go from there that hasn't already been done when it comes to Terminator? That's what I really loved about the Salvation storyline.
It was
Because it was set in the future. It was stuff we had never seen before. It wasn't about stopping the future from happening. It was about finally winning the war.
winning the war. Well, maybe that's what you do is they do win the war, and
Well, that's what I want to see. I want to see. That's what I hoped Salvation was going to be, was this trilogy in the future to finally put an end to the Terminator War.
yeah,
Right?
there is
Once
the
and
video
for
game
all.
that's coming out soon as well.
Oh, for Terminator?
Yeah, there's a Terminator video game, and
yeah.
I don't know how it ties into the mythos, to canon, but I know there is one coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. A couple cool things happened this week that I was reading through. So Sir Ian McKellen, of course, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Yep. It's 20 years, Tico. Can you believe it's been 20 years since Lord of the Rings came out?
Yes, I don't like it when we talk about things that have been that long in time that I enjoyed.
That feels like yesterday.
Old. Yeah, it's like, oh, no, I remember going to see that. Oh, wait, that was in my... Okay, I'm old now, and I don't like that.
Right. But Ian McKellen, on I believe it's the 20th anniversary of his arriving on the set. So not necessarily, because I believe it was 2001 that the first one came out, so we got another year before we're old. Like, quite literally, I'm going to be 50 next year, Tico.
Wow, you are old.
Oh, my gosh. That's it. I quit. I'm out of here. I'm not going to if I end now, I won't get old in front of the camera. Isn't that how it works?
Too late.
Oh.
Too late, Sean.
Man. So anyway, Sir Ian McKellen apparently kept diaries during the filming of Lord of the Rings. Like when he arrived, the stuff they went through, when he saw the dailies and the things he was thinking or fun things that happened on set. And he has actually released those diaries on his webpage, on his website called The Grey Book. And they're really fascinating. The article I think I found it at Polygon, called Ian McKellen's Unearthed Lord of the Rings Set Diaries will take you there and back again. But if you look for Ian McKellen's Grey Book and find his website, you can read through all of his diary entries, and they are so fascinating. Like, it really... How do you describe... Like, there's one entry where... I mean, how do you think of when you think of Sir Ian McKellen? You think, like, man, I would love to meet this man. He is so amazing. He's got to be so far out of my league type thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you read his entry, and he's like a kid in a candy store because he met Christopher Lee. And he was acting beside Christopher Lee. He was literally, the way he was wording it, he was like this shy young actor in front of his idol.
Yeah.
And this is like, we're talking about Sir Ian McKellen here, who felt that way working with Christopher Lee.
Yeah, it's amazing to see when actors, have this reverence for each other and for each other's work like that.
But it makes them more human, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you realize that he really is no different than you and I when it comes to stuff like this. Famous actors are just as much in awe as we are meeting other famous actors. You know? But it's one of those things you never really think of. Because you think, oh, Johnny Depp, he knows everybody. But, maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, in your head, you're figuring these guys have Hollywood parties all the time.
Right.
And their kids are in the same carpool and
exactly,
stuff like that. You just figure like they all hang out and know each other, but no, like a lot of times these guys, they'll meet their idols, the people that they grew up watching in movies, thinking, man, I want to be that guy someday. And when they get to work with them, they have that moment.
It's such an eye opener, and it's really fascinating to read. Like, it really is. Check it out, Ian McKellen's Grey Book. Read through the diary of while they were filming all three films, and it's so fascinating. If you look up the Polygon article, there's basically, they do list a few of them, sort of like the high points, I guess, or the ones they found most interesting. I couldn't stop reading it. It was that fascinating. It's just really fun to get that inside glimpse into an actor's everyday life, like what he's thinking, how he's feeling. And it's just like, I never would have imagined Ian McKellen being like this. It's awesome. The Witcher TV show, we talked about that a while back.
People seem to like that.
It seems to be a little bit popular. I mean, we loved it, obviously. It is apparently a massive, this is in quotes, a massive new franchise for Netflix, according to their CEO. It is so massive that they have already planned for seasons upon seasons upon seasons of this show.
Yeah.
But here's my problem, because in the same article, or similar articles anyway, they start talking about now they're going to release a Witcher anime film. And I'm like,
and
okay.
I saw something on that. I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Well, I'm not saying I won't watch it, but here's my problem. If it is such a huge hit for Netflix, I get it. Keep it going. Keep the quality up. But don't saturate Netflix with the Witcher stuff, or people will get turned off because it'll just be too much Witcher.
No, that's true. You do have to be careful of the stories that you're telling. You almost want to tell with this like stories not within the season or anything like that, like stories of him when he was younger, or like,
or not him at all.
Or not him at all, like other characters of the Witcher universe.
Yeah, I get that it's huge. I get it. It's a fantastic show. It is so beautifully written and beautifully shot. I don't want to see Netflix take advantage of that popularity by oversaturating their service with the Witcher everything. Because look at what happened with Star Wars and Disney, right? They tried to do they tried to do the Marvel thing and come out a movie every year, but I don't know if somehow, because I think part of it is the fact that Marvel in and of itself has 50 years worth of stories to go back on that have
content
already
that they can pull
content
from.
They can pull from. They're not making it up as they go. Right? They have content they're pulling from. It makes it simpler. I'm not saying it's simple to do a Marvel film. That's not what I'm saying. I'm making it's simpler to say, let's do this story and now let's write it. Because it's already been done in comic book form.
Let's
adapt. Now adapt it, right?
And that's what they're doing. They're taking something that exists and they're adapting it for film or television.
Right.
Whereas
Star Wars is all new, right? And they made the mistake trying to do a new film every year, and look what happened. We got Solo. Not saying Solo was bad, but the market went down for it, right?
Now, this may work because there is content for them to pull from, because there are a number of books and a number of side stories and stuff like that already written for them to pull from the Witcher universe.
If that's all they do is start pulling from the Witcher universe with stuff that's already written, I just don't want to see them go overboard with the franchise and make it like, oh crap, another Witcher show. Oh, another Witcher this, another Witcher that. Like,
I think you're going to see stuff as sort of filler. Like this Netflix anime show will be quicker and easier for them to make and write and put into production and get to for consumption. Whereas season 2, like it's 2021 before we're going to see that. That's a full year before we're going to see another season. I know. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about too is, they said that The Witcher season 2 will be 2021. I'm like, oh my gosh. TV in quotes, has gotten to that point where when it comes to things like Netflix or even CBS All Access, for example, with Star Trek. Star Trek's the same way. Star Trek Discovery premiered in like 2017. 2016, I want to say. Yeah. And then it wasn't for it was like a year and a half later that we got season 2. And then another year and a half later, we're getting season 3. We don't even have a release date on season 3 yet, right? Yep. We've got Star Trek Picard just aired, which we'll talk about in a minute. But who knows when season 2 is coming? It's gotten to that point where you get these amazing shows that you love, and then you watch a season, and then you're like, I don't even know when it's coming now. It's not written. What happened to September to May, and then you take the summer off, and then September starts again. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need to get back to work. Like Game of Thrones was a year and a half in between seasons.
I think that season
Mandalorian
7
that were.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, man. It's such these are, and particularly since a lot of these things on Netflix, for example, they're dropping
the whole season.
The season at once.
Yes.
So now I've watched The Witcher in 1 week, and now I wait a year and a bit
or more
for another season.
Right.
And it's great because I love the content.
Right, but I don't understand why, if you look at regular shows like The Rookie, like just regular TV shows, the Goldbergs, The Rookie, all the stuff we talk about. They're on set schedules. It's like they start in September, October, They go through to Christmas, take a few weeks off, come back January, and they usually end they used to end in June, now they end around in May. But then they come back in September, October. Consistently, year after year. Why? And so we're only talking we're only talking a few months in between seasons.
Yeah.
Why are the Netflix shows, the streaming shows, why can't they be the same?
They can be. The reason they're not is because there's not a schedule for them. It doesn't have to be like, hey, we have to fill Thursdays from 9 till 10. They don't have to fill a television.
They're not
schedule.
a network.
Right? It's drop the content and people will watch it. And that's why when you were seeing stuff like this, it's dropping in a different format. Those ones there, we need to renew these guys early because we need to have something for that time slot. So it's either whatever new show we're going to put into that time slot, or we're renewing these guys so they know ahead of time, so they can start working on the next season because they need that content for that.
But
space to fill.
Think about Star Trek even on CBS All Access. It is a weekly show. Okay,
yes.
And it's, I can't remember, was it 20 episodes, season 1 and season 2? So it was a full season, right?
Yeah.
And it was weekly. Why? Even though that is a streaming service, it was still a weekly show they were putting out. Why could, after those 20 weeks, why could it not have the next season in, say, 3 or 4 months? Why are we waiting 18 months for another season?
They don't have to renew it. That's the thing, is they can. It's not something, if they don't have something in that spot, nobody tunes into their channel.
I get it. I don't understand why they don't just keep going. What is the logic behind waiting 18 months before releasing another season? I don't get it. Why is it not just on a regular schedule?
They should have it on a regular schedule, but they want to make you want it more. They don't like you, if we've covered this.
Apparently.
They're like, Sean wants it now, make him wait.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
Exactly. Because we're going to get 10 episodes of Star Trek Picard, which, let's talk about it, was like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, as we discussed last week, I have not watched a ton of Star Trek stuff.
Right.
I really, really enjoyed this. I had fun watching it. It was well written. It was well presented.
Oh my gosh, it was so
really liked it, and I want more now.
It was really well written. It is very different from any Star Trek that has come before it. I thought it was an absolute fantastic episode. So much so that I watched it at lunch yesterday because I could not wait to watch it. And then I get home and I said to my wife, "Do you want to watch Star Trek Picard?" She says, "Yeah, I'd like to." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I watched it again, and it was just as good the second time. I enjoyed it just as much the second time in the same day, Tico. Yeah, right? Because it was so well done.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to wait and watch this with my wife, because this is one of those ones that I'll want to watch when it's on, like as soon as I can.
As soon as it's available. I am so excited for her to
be in the mood to watch it.
Yeah, I am so excited for this series, and it did not let down. I am so looking forward to more episodes. It's only 10 episodes though, which is like, oh, it's only 10 weeks. Come on. So the thought, the rumor or the speculation, I'm going to say speculation because nothing's been said, so it's not rumor. The speculation is that when Picard is done, then we'll see Discovery Season 3. Because there have been statements made by CBS now saying that they've got several Star Trek shows on the go right now. They've got Discovery, they have Picard, they have the Lower Decks, which is sort of the cartoon comedy that takes place in the Lower Decks for the people, the characters people don't even know exist type thing, which sounds funny. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then there's supposed to be a Starfleet Academy show. I don't know much about that or if that's even happening. And then a Section 31 show as well, which is your Black Ops team in Starfleet.
Yeah.
And so their hope is to always have Star Trek. Get to that point where here's one show, and when that one's done, here's the next show, and then when that's done, here's the next, so that you're kind of always going from a Star Trek show to Star Trek show, but they're not airing at the same time.
Right, so your audience is not going to feel like I'm watching 6 different Star Trek shows at once.
You're watching one
like,
show.
I'm going to watch this.
And then I'm going to watch...
You'll get they'll give you a gap. They're going to give you a gap. So you're like, man, I miss my Star Trek. And then they'll put the next one out and you'll be like, oh.
Yeah.
You'll have some more.
Yeah, Star Trek Picard, what a fantastic story. I don't want to talk about the story because I don't want to give...
new.
It's still new. I don't want to give anything away, but I am so happy with just the setup, with where Picard is. Now it's like it's 2 decades after Nemesis, which is his last mission that we saw him in. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And things have happened. He's no longer in Starfleet. That's not giving anything away. That came with the trailers. But to learn why, and there is actually one episode of Star Trek Short Treks. If you've never watched Short Treks, there is one episode of Short Treks. It is the 6th episode of season 2 of Short Treks that is actually a prequel to Picard. And the first episode of Picard actually touches on the events of that short trek. And short treks, if you don't know what they are, they're like 10 minutes. Yeah, they're not even webisodes. They were on CBS All Access, but they're 10 minutes or less. Like, I'm talking 8 to 10 minute episodes that take place in Star Trek at different time points. They're just stories. They're Star Trek stories. And they have like 2, maybe 3 characters in them. Or sometimes some of them even have... I've watched one where there's like one character in the entire episode. They're literally short, standalone episodes. But the last one, called Children of Mars, takes place just before, I'm not sure how far before, but it's a prequel to Picard, and the events of that episode are touched on the episode, which was cool.
I'm watching all of Discovery and the short treks between now and our next show.
Wow, that's
gonna do it.
That's ambitious. That's 2 seasons of Discovery.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do it.
I know you could. So, Star Trek Picard, if you are a Star Trek fan, you owe it to yourself to watch Picard. It is absolutely fantastic and very, very satisfying as a new Star Trek show. And now let's, just for a couple of minutes, we've got some Star Wars news as well. Star Wars Kenobi, which was one of the new Disney Plus shows we've been looking forward to, which again will not be out until next year.
Yep.
So
just
long.
Holding everything back.
So long. But apparently the news has come out that the sets have been struck. The people working on it have been told to go home. They've actually halted production in order to work on the scripts and polish them and make them better.
I like better. I don't like waiting.
Right. Exactly. I'm great with making them better. Now, of course, a lot of the news came out and said, everything's in trouble. They're canceling the show, blah, blah. Ewan McGregor basically comes out and says, come on, people. It's not that bad. We're rewriting. We are polishing the scripts. We're going to make it better. We have not pushed out the launch date. We've just pushed out the filming dates. They're still looking to meet their launch date. They're going to put it on hold filming, because the scripts aren't quite up to snuff to what they wanted.
This is stuff that happens all the time in the industry. We're just at a point now where there's so much information flowing because of the internet, and because Disney has pushed this and marketed this to us. Now you're getting information that normally you wouldn't have even heard about.
And everyone just overreacts to everything. Oh no, everyone's going home. The show's canceled. Everything's burning. Blah. No. They've, listen, the scripts were not what they wanted. Some of the story goes on to say that the script felt too close to what Mandalorian did. There was apparently some part of it where Obi-Wan sort of takes under his wing a young Luke or a young Leia or something. Which was too similar to, of course, to Mando with Baby Yoda, right? So it's like, why are we telling the same story? We got to do something different. I'm glad it's not that, because Luke doesn't know him, when he first meets him, so he can't bring up a young Luke. A young Leia, perhaps, because Leia knows who he is, but I don't think she really does, because her first message to him in A New Hope was that you fought alongside my father in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That was it. That was how she knew him. So I hope it's not dealing with a young Leia or a young Luke, other than, oh, look, there's an episode, there's 8-year-old Luke. Hey, look, we saw Luke and he was 8, but that's it. He's not a main character.
Yeah. I do hope we get to see the baby Jabba the Hutt that has been floating around the internet at some point.
Oh my gosh!
Have you not seen that? Somebody did like a baby Jabba.
Oh my gosh!
He looks like a tiny little slug.
Well, he wouldn't be a baby cute in that timeline.
I know he wouldn't. No, it's just because they're making fun of the baby Yoda.
Yoda, I gotcha.
They're trying to say, oh, we can go cuter than that.
Well, here's the thing that really interests me, and I know this will not be popular on the internets, but you know what? I kind of want to see this. There is the rumor that there's going to be a bearded Jar Jar Binks. So a much older, much wiser Jar Jar Binks. And I'm like, you know what? I'm all for that. I'm all for taking that character everyone hated. I didn't hate Jar Jar, for the record. I did not hate him until the internet did. You know, I actually did not mind him at all, because he was the humor that 3PO usually is in the first episode, which 3PO wasn't in, right? So Jar Jar took that place as that comedy. Because 3PO was always the comedy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so a bearded Jar Jar, yes. I won't disagree that the only time Jar Jar bothered me was the final battle, where he was just being a stupid goof in this very serious battle against the droid army. But anyway, I digress. I mean, Anakin was no different. Let's be honest. But a bearded Jar Jar, like, where he's old and wise and realizing what he's done by putting the Emperor in charge, much more somber. I could deal with that. I could, like, yeah, let's do this. Let me see what this war has done to Jar Jar.
But can his species grow a beard?
Oh yeah, Jar Jar. I believe Boss Nass had a beard, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Boss Nass had a beard.
That was just his neck.
I don't know, man, but
are you Googling it now?
I'm Googling Boss Nass. I want to see a picture of him. Oh no, no, he didn't have a beard. I thought he did, but no. You're right. That was just his neck was. I don't know. Why not?
They don't because they don't have hair, for one thing. Like, it's an underwater species. Why would it have a beard?
Maybe it won't be a beard per se, but I mean something that kind of resembles a beard.
All right. I'm just saying, if he has all of a sudden like a big fake Santa beard on, I'm going to be like, that looks weird.
Right. Yeah. No. But no.
I know you're pro beard. You're pro beard anytime you can.
But I'm kind of for seeing an older, somber, wiser Jar Jar. Yeah. I think like it would give a great I don't know the word for it, like
closure to his character.
A closure, but more of a redemption to his character. You know what I mean? I would love to see that. I don't know if it's real, but I'd love to see that on the Kenobi show. I think it would be the Kenobi show. Sounds like a talk show. That's what they're rewriting it as. It's the Kenobi show.
Yeah, it's a variety hour now.
Oh man. So anyway, that's I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. Tico, it is your turn to take us out.
It's my turn.
My turn. Your turn.
My turn. All right. The show. It can be followed on Twitter at the OMG Hour. You can like, subscribe, and comment there. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place, and check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/OMG Nexus.
You can also like, subscribe, and comment here on the YouTube.
And anywhere. Oh, just anywhere. So anywhere. Like,
you know
what? In the street. If you want in the street, just
go to work and just comment.
And say, subscribe.
Yeah, comment. Just go to work and comment on the show, and they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, what? You don't know? You should check it out. That's how it works.
Go up at Sean's house, knock on the door. When he answers, just say subscribe.
Subscribe. Of course, you can follow me everywhere. I am Ziantane. That is XIANTAYNE. That is it for episode 355. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.